The bright lights and non-stop pace of the island of Manhattan, the centerpiece of America's largest city. New York is a baseball-crazy metropolis with a history in the game now beginning a third century. For 13 super-talented young men from across America, a historic chance for all of them to showcase their skills to the nation at the dawn of their baseball career. And these are the Eastbay AllStars. Come with us for the next 30 minutes as they barnstorm the eastern seaboard.
Sports Stars of Tomorrow is brought to you by Eastbay. Eastbay, the place elite athletes shop.
I'm Pat Summerall. On this edition of Sports Stars of Tomorrow, we get on the bus with the best 13-year-old baseball team ever assembled. The Eastbay AllStars arrived in the Big Apple from baseball hotspots like California, Texas, Arkansas, Georgia, and Florida. After conquering New York, we'll watch them roll through New England as they ponder life in the big leagues at one of baseball's cathedrals. Then it's a long bus ride south to the nation's capital, where monuments of a different type capture the attention of these talented young men. They'll learn a bit about our nation's history and baseball traditions too. But first, you can't have a bus tour without proper introductions.
Big time guys in big time city.
So let's meet the players. Beginning with the Lone Star State, Zach Deloach brings a solid lefty bat with him from Louisville. And Dylan Bonnert is a hard-throwing right-hander from Anderson, Texas. So is his pal Landon Miner from just down the road in Bryan. Slugger Matt Mitchell hails from Houston, where he also answers to the nickname of Shrek. And switch hitter Zach Phillips is from just over the border in Texarkana, Arkansas. MJ Melendez is a lefty-hitting catcher and infielder from Birmingham, Alabama. The Peach State is represented by the versatile Tyler Calvert out of Brazelton, Georgia, and by Tucker Bradley, a lefty hailing from nearby Chickamauga. Weston Bizzle headlines a healthy Florida contingent. The scrappy redhead from Panama City can play any position. You can say the same for Miami native Andres Sanchez. And Alex Sanchez is a switch-hitting infielder from Jacksonville. California checks in with speedy outfielder Stone Scapitulo from San Diego. His neighbor there is Matt Ruddick, a lefty pitcher and outfielder. So is Bennett McCaskill, the righty pitcher. Catcher infielder is the son of former Major League pitcher Kirk McCaskill. Coach Bob Peterson joins the Eastbay AllStars from Columbia, New Jersey. And Coach Ray DeLeon hails from Houston, Texas, where he runs the Banditos Baseball Academy. Charlotte, North Carolina's Chris Garris is the director of American Baseball University, ABU providing the instructional support for the tour. And with that, the Eastbay AllStars take Manhattan. On Friday morning, the Eastbay AllStars gather as a group for their first time, receiving their uniforms and gear and getting to know one another. Then it's time to leave New Jersey and the bus into the city. The first visit to New York for most of these players. First stop, a somber one. The players assemble on the third-story walkway overlooking the space that used to be the World Trade Center towers that were demolished in the terrorist attack of September the 11th, 2001. The location holds special significance for New Jersey's Bob Peterson. That day, Coach Bob lost his cousin, Battalion Chief Oreo Palmer, a New York City firefighter who charged into the South Tower in the minutes before it collapsed.
It was a moving moment for me, and I just wanted them to get a perspective because of where they live. They may not felt as much of an impact. And I told them, of course, that's not their fault. You know, they live thousands of miles away. But when you try to get a more personal feeling, I think they try to, they can take that home with them and get a little more better understanding. And I was very happy and fortunate to share my story.
Then it's on to Times Square, where the Eastbay AllStars, already itching for a ball game, break out the bat and wiffle ball in one of Manhattan's busiest intersections. After causing quite a stir, the ball players quickly exit the makeshift stage and head inside for lunch at the Hard Rock Cafe. After their first meal together as a team, you can see friendships starting to form. And the AllStars look ahead to what's next, their first action on the diamond. So it's back on the bus for a trip uptown. Their destination, a historic baseball location in the Bronx. Alas, not Yankee Stadium, but Roberto Clemente State Park. It's the home field of the New York Police Department baseball team. It's a roster of uniformed officers, all joined together in their time off by a love of the game.
These are all guys that go out, fight crime every day, and after work, they want to relax, they come play baseball. 90% of my guys have played college baseball, anywhere from Division I down to Division III. And I do have a couple of guys that played minor league ball and independent ball.
What was initially a joint skills showcase soon turned into an informal game-like scrimmage. The NYPD club brings some runs around early. If anybody's keeping score, you might say they took the lead. Georgia's Tyler Calvert rips an extra base hit for Eastbay. That brings around California's Bent McCaskill and Georgia's Tucker Bradley. And the Eastbay AllStars are holding their own with New York's finest. The next hitter is Landon Miner of Texas. He rolls a single into left field, and that places Calvert with another run. It's not too long after this that the teams call it a day. Eastbay needs to conserve pitching and energy for their schedule of 7 games in the next 4 days. The teams pose for pictures and exchange gifts, but not before NYPD's manager imparts some advice to the young men.
Whenever you feel like doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, go play baseball. All right? It's the best thing for you to do, all right? And I wish you guys a lot of luck. Play hard. Always play hard. Respect the game.
And you can't play baseball in the Bronx without dropping in on perhaps the most famous ballpark on the planet.
Now listen up. Here we are, brand new Yankee Stadium. Opened up in 2009. It's the year they won the World Series. The old Yankee Stadium, just to give you in perspective, that they have taken down is where that field is right there. You can see where they kept some of the old facade right behind those trees there. You can see some of the old facade, that little white fencing, okay? Built this brand new stadium. Right now, we're in what's called Babe Ruth Plaza. There's a sign right behind you guys here. Hopefully you guys have either read up about Babe Ruth or know something about Babe Ruth.
And as the players have fun, their coach is looking over the horizon.
All the lights, all the Yankee stadiums, this bus, and all the munchies and all the pizzas, it doesn't mean anything. We got to win. That's why we're here. I came here to win, right? And that's why I didn't throw my pitchers, my top 6, 7 pitchers. I saved them for the real battle that we're going to play here tomorrow.
Coming up, the Eastbay AllStars cross the Hudson River to play a tripleheader in New Jersey. And later, it's autumn in New England for the Eastbay AllStars. It means an offensive explosion and a trip to the hallowed grounds of Fenway Park. Plus, the All-Stars invade the nation's capital. It's a mix of sightseeing and baseball. As Sports Stars of Tomorrow with the Eastbay All-Stars continues after the break. Promotional consideration and equipment provided to the Eastbay All-Stars by Adidas.
Thank you, Adidas.
If you would like to contact the show, we would love to hear from you. You can send us an email to sst@prepticket.com. You can also friend us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Our screen name is Sports Stars TV.
Baseball training on this show is provided by American Baseball University. Nominate an athlete today for a camp in your area at AmericanBaseballUniversity.com. On a glorious, sunny, and warm day at Morris Catholic High School, the Eastbay AllStars draw the South Troy Dodgers in a morning game.
Say, listen up, real quick. This is real. This is real. This ain't no play around now. All right? Yesterday was fun. Now it's real. Okay? Let's get after it. Okay? Let's go. New York on 3. 1, 2, 3. New York. Let's go.
Second inning, South Troy with the bases loaded. But Eastbay kills a big inning here. Lefty Zach Phillips on the mound. And he induces the pitcher's best friend, the 6-4-3 double play. Third inning now. Eastbay ties it up on a long blow by Georgia's Tucker Bradley. The gapper to right center rolls to the deepest part of the park. Bradley trots into third with the triple. He'd score a couple of hitters later, and Eastbay ties it at 3-3. Later, 6-5 South Troy as Bradley saves Eastbay. He plunks a single into left. That brings around California's Stone Scapitulo to the plate. The game is knotted at 6-6. The teams play an extra frame, but nothing is decided.
This game's all about producing. Your mom and dads can't make excuses for you and say, oh, my kid's great, and talk to the high school coach. No, these coaches are going to see for themselves. It's my job to prepare you for that.
Game 2 of the tripleheader matched Eastbay with the New Jersey squad, the Morris County Cubs. Tied at 1 in the bottom of the first, Eastbay takes the lead with the help of 2 Texas products. Landon Miner, the infield single. Dylan Bonert comes in from third. Eastbay leads 2-1 after an inning. Second inning, 2 Matts make it 3-1 for Eastbay. California's Matt Rudick goes the other way with the long fly ball to left. Texas native Matt Mitchell scores easily, and Rudick waltzes into second with a double. The next Eastbay hitter is California's Stone Scapatulo. He cashes in Rudick, his San Diego neighbor, with the base hit to left. Eastbay builds a 4-1 lead over Morris County as we head to the third. Fourth inning, 4-3 Eastbay. Florida's Alex Sanchez gets things started with a long rope to the right field corner that bounces out of play. Sanchez rolls into second with a ground rule double. A couple of hitters later, small ball brings in Sanchez. Stone Scapatulo with the perfect suicide squeeze bunt. Scapatulo is out at first, but Sanchez scores and Eastbay leads 5-3. But it's tied at 6 in the final inning. Eastbay needs someone to step up. Landon Miner answers the call. The Texan rips a walk-off single to left. California's Bennett McCaskill trots in with the game-winning run. Eastbay pulls out a tough 7-6 decision over a game New Jersey squad, and now has a tie and a win on the day. Waiting for them in Game 3, the well-rested South Troy Dodgers that Eastbay tied in Game 1. Early in Game 3, Coach Ray gathered his troops together for a little chat after Eastbay spotted South Troy a 5-1 advantage. Fifth inning, things start to change for Eastbay. They have the bases loaded for Matt Mitchell, and the young man they call Shrek is grazed by a pitch. That forces a run, and Eastbay trails 5-2. The next hitter is Alabama's M.J. Melendez. He sends a roller down to short. The RBI ground out brings in Georgia's Tyler Calvert, and Eastbay is down 5-3. Stone Scapatulo is up next. He smacks a single into left. That brings around Mitchell and Melendez. All of a sudden, Eastbay is all tied with South Troy at 5-5 in the fifth. From there, both teams threaten but can't push another across the plate. This one finishes to no one's satisfaction in a 5-5 draw. On the day, Eastbay shows some light, rallying in all 3 games to pull out a win and 2 ties. In this, their first day of real competition. These guys are fast becoming a team.
When everyone first got there, no one was talking, but I think that was because we were tired. But the next day, as we all got in the bus and got introduced, because Coach Ray, he came over and was like, hey guys, if there's anyone you have to talk to him, and kind of lighten the mood a little bit. We all get along, that's great.
Lots more action to come. Coach Ray puts on a hitting clinic. Then his players try out on a select Rhode Island squad. The Eastbay AllStars visit Baseball Cathedrals old and new, touring Fenway Park, and not so lucky in D.C. at Nationals Park. After visiting the President's house, Eastbay gets inspired against talented clubs from the D.C. area as Sports Stars of Tomorrow caravans the Northeast with the Eastbay AllStars. Promotional consideration and equipment provided by Diamond Sports. On the web at diamond-sports.com. Diamond Sports. Baseball training on this show is provided by American Baseball University. Nominate an athlete today for a camp in your area at AmericanBaseballUniversity.com. After a 3-hour ride from New Jersey, the Eastbay AllStars roll into Rhode Island for a hitting clinic with their coach, former minor league slugger Ray DeLeon.
They're all fastballs. Just sit back, get time, and get your foot down and go. Keep the bat head there longer, right? Let's work on that today. Concentrate on that today.
After soaking in all of Coach Ray's knowledge, the Eastbay AllStars get off the bus in Johnston, Rhode Island, ready to hit.
1, 2, 3, Eastbay.
First inning, 4 Texans collaborate for Eastbay's initial outburst. Zach DeLoach goes the other way and bloops it into left. That plates Dylan Bonert and Landon Miner. Eastbay leads 2-0. Then it's Mitchell at the plate in the fifth. And the young man from Houston gets all of this one. The ball flies over the fence in right center field. It's a 2-run bomb for Mitchell, Eastbay's first homer of the trip. And they go on to pound Rhode Island in the first game 10-1. The nightcap isn't much different. as Eastbay shuts out their host 10-0. On the trip, Eastbay now stands at 3 wins and 2 ties in 5 games. At dinner that night, the players share a few laughs and also think about the next morning. After a morning session of retail therapy in the Red Sox team store, the Eastbay AllStars crossed the street and joined other fans in a tour of the hallowed grounds of Fenway Park.
Anybody can sit in, about $28 to sit in a piece of baseball history. Usually just going to call red when tickets go on sale. Tell me you want the red seat, the Ted Williams seat, or if any of you guys can remember, it's section 42, row 37, seat 21.
Might one of the present-day Eastbay AllStars match the exploits of Red Sox legend Ted Williams? Well, being able to experience the sights and sounds of Fenway Park can cause a young man to dream, especially after players got to see the view on top of and in front of Fenway's legendary and enormous left field wall, the Green Monster. And with that, the Eastbay AllStars pile onto the bus for the long trek down I-95 to the nation's capital. Coming up, long bus rides are a staple of minor league baseball. These young men would like to get used to it, but the Boston to D.C. trek drags on into the night. The sightseeing in the nation's capital is something to behold, as the All-Stars take in some history lessons they can touch and feel. But baseball is always what's front and center with this bunch. On the schedule, a doubleheader with some of the finest players the D.C. area can muster, and that produces a baseball tradition reserved for special occasions.
Sports Stars of Tomorrow is brought to you by Eastbay. Eastbay, the place elite athletes shop.
Baseball training on this show is provided by American Baseball University. Nominate an athlete today for a camp in your area at AmericanBaseballUniversity.com. The Eastbay AllStars got off the bus in the nation's capital ready to take in the sights. For a baseball team, the first stop has to be at the newest D.C. monument, Nationals Park. Born in 2008, the stadium is one of the newest in the major leagues. Tours weren't available on this day, so the Eastbay AllStars could once again only dream of returning in the future in a different uniform. Next stop, the Jefferson Memorial, where the players spent some time learning about Thomas Jefferson, one of our nation's founding fathers and the 3rd U.S. president. The 44th U.S. president wasn't at home on the day the Eastbay AllStars dropped by. As the players peered in on the most famous house in the world, the clock ticked down toward game time. The Eastbay bus found its way to the D.C. suburbs for a doubleheader against 2 local All-Star squads. First up for Eastbay, a talented club from nearby Virginia. Top of the second, 2 runners on for California's Matt Ruddick. He rips it to right center, and the fly ball is deep enough for Texan Zach DeLoach to tag and score. Eastbay leads 1-0. And that's all they needed, because pitcher Landon Miner was mowing down Virginia hitters. His fastball topping out at 82 miles an hour, more than anything these hitters have seen. By the final inning, the Eastbay dugout was aware of the special moment.
You don't see that very often. I'm not going to jinx them, but I'm saying let's play hard this next inning, okay? Let's shut them down.
Here's the final out. The tall Texan, still throwing smoke, induces the dribbler down to third. Scapatulo gets it over to DeLoach at first, and that's it. Landon Miner gets mobbed by his guys after he tosses a perfect game. No one reaches first base as Eastbay beats Virginia 6-0.
I've touched low 80s before, but I mean.
All right. Talk a little bit about when you know you have it going.
The shaving cream facial is an old baseball tradition. Coach Ray delivers the sudsy prank on the unsuspecting Miner. In Game 2 against the tough Maryland squad, lightning does strike twice. Eastbay gets more unhittable pitching from 3 different gunslingers as the trio combines to no-hit Maryland. Texan Dylan Bonnard goes the first 4 innings. He hands off to Georgia's Tyler Calvert, who hangs up a scoreless 5th against the home side. Arkansas lefty Zach Phillips goes the last 2, breaking off a lot of slow curves to keep Maryland off balance. Here's the last out. Phillips gets the strikeout, but the out is recorded with Alabama's M.J. Melendez at first. And Eastbay closes with a pair of gems, a perfect game, and a no-hitter.
Don't ever forget the guys next to you, because you know what? Along the way, you never know when you guys are going to cross paths again on the baseball field, on the same team, in the job force. You never know when you may need somebody's help one day. And these guys are your compadres.
After a week of barnstorming in the Northeast Corridor, the Eastbay AllStars visited 8 states in the District of Columbia. They played 7 games, winning 5 and tying the other 2. But more than baseball, these talented young men got to see 3 Major League American cities and learn a little bit more about the country and its people, while making lifelong friends along the way. Thanks for hopping on the bus with the Eastbay AllStars. I'm Pat Summerall. See you next time on Sports Stars of Tomorrow.
Thank you, Eastbay, for this opportunity to play more baseball.